In this video, I will reveal an ICT trade strategy entry that has the best win rate I've ever seen, ever. In fact, in testing, it achieved an 88.3% win rate over 3 months of data. In this video, all will be revealed and I will show everything playing out on the charts. The beauty of the system that I've developed is that it requires no higher time frame bias. You may add it to further increase your higher win rate. However, it's not necessary and I did not include it for the testing that I did. I spent the last 3 weeks testing the system and have spent many hours testing it on different markets, different conditions, different time frames, and I'm now ready to reveal it to all of you guys on my YouTube channel. However, I will be honest, there is one caveat to this trading strategy that I will talk about later, but there is one downfall that you need to be aware of when trading this strategy. The strategy was created specifically with the mindset of getting you funded and keeping you funded. And I'll be revealing exactly how to trade it step by step in a mechanical way with rules so that you can follow along and keep things as rule-based as possible. Now, before I break all of this down for you guys, I need to ask you one thing. You need to hop down below, click on the subscribe button, click on the like button. Now, once you've done that, we can continue with the video and I'll start to break down the strategy for you that has the highest win rate of any ICT strategy that I've ever seen on the internet today. Right, so this entry model is called the Judas change of character or Judas choch. And with this strategy and entry model, you can use it on any pair you like. However, I did test it on the Euro USD pair when I was going through past data as well as forward testing the strategy with the data that I collected and journaled. So that is the pair that I suggest you start out using and testing if I was you. However, you can use it on any pair you like. Choose your favorite pair, pick it, but start to backtest it, right? Do not hop straight into funding challenges blindly without any data or any kind of confidence in the system you're using. Don't just take my word for it. Go and test it first. Right, so let's hop on to the charts. So a lot of people ask me, what is my favorite prop firm to trade with? And it's pretty easy. It's Blue Guardian. Blue Guardian has the best trading conditions of any prop firm I've traded with. It also has a built-in equity protector to stop you from getting stopped out on your daily loss limit. So guys, if you're looking to get an evaluation with Blue Guardian, I suggest that you use the link below and use the code GARTRADES for 10% off your purchase. Okay, so before you get into the strategy, one thing that you need to know is that it is based on my Judas Swing strategy, which is basically using the London time, using the London session to trade, right? You can also use this in New York session. There is a video for both London session and New York session. The links are down below. So go to watch those videos first before you watch this if you're not familiar with how the Judas Swing works and how we use the London session to trade using Asia sessions liquidity. Okay, now essentially all it is using this box, and I'll break it down very quickly for you guys. It's using this Asian sessions box, okay, to track liquidity. Okay, now Asia builds up liquidity when it opens and when it closes, and we're simply going to use the highest point and the lowest point that was printed during the Asian session. Now I use this Asian session range indicator, which you can just simply search for in you can simply search for it. So if you go to indicators, Asian session range, okay, it is by Rob Minty. Okay, that is the one that I'm using, right? And so you just simply add that to your chart and use these exact settings here. Okay, use these exact settings here. Just show the London session box, right, and use these exact settings right here. Okay, pause the video here and set your settings to those right now. Then, okay, we've got this box showing up, showing exactly where the Asian session range is. You then get a sweep of that box either to the upside or to the downside, and that is where you're going to take trades in the opposite direction. So for example, right here, we have a sweep of this Asian session, and then we would be looking only for long trades, right? So essentially we look for, firstly, a sweep of Asia Okay, so that's the box. Okay, then we look for a change of character, right? Essentially, that is the Judas Swing strategy, right? And then we would enter on the FVG that is printed once the change of character happens, okay? Now, in terms of the change of character, you need to know how to spot a fractal change of character, okay? Now, a fractal change of character is essentially just knowing where fractal highs and lows are in the market, and then that will be your change of character. So for example, here, the change of character would be right here once price goes past this. And so we will talk a bit about that later, but if you're struggling with fractal structure, which you need to know first, head down into the link below. There's a video on fractal structure that I put out earlier on my YouTube channel. And then we've also got the video on the Judas Swing strategy, which I suggest you watch both of those first before hopping onto the rest of the strategy. Majority of you guys know exactly how this works. So I will continue from here with you guys. So essentially, this is what the Judas Swing strategy looks like. You look for a sweep of Asia, a change of character, okay? And then we look for the fair value gap. Right, so essentially, this is what we would look for. But with the Judas choch, it's different. And now, so for the Judas change of character or Judas choch, essentially we're looking for this to happen. Okay, we're looking for the sweep of Asia, the change of character. And instead of entering on the fair value gap, we're actually looking for this change of character to get swept once again. Now, once we have this double sweep, okay, now bearing in mind, I'm not discrediting the Judas Swing strategy. In fact, it's very, very profitable. It's just not as profitable as this. This is the highest profitable trade that I have in my toolbox, and I'm sharing it with you guys right now. I've also never seen anybody else talking about anything like this before, okay? So I'm really glad to be sharing this with you guys, and I hope you take value from it. So essentially, you get the choch, and then you have the sweep of that choch, and then you look for the entry on the FVG, okay? So essentially, all we're going to be doing, right, is once again, it doesn't matter what time zone you're in, by the way. This indicator will simply create the Asian session range based on world time. So you don't need to worry about that. Okay, well, you'll see once you change this, your time zone, it will not change this box. So you can trade it in any time zone that you want. I'm in the London time zone currently. So essentially, I won't be looking for trades past 11. Okay, so what we are looking for when we're looking for the Judas choch is essentially the choch to happen, okay? A fractal one is included. Again, if you're struggling with fractal structure and fractal changes of character, go look at the video in the description below. It shows you how to spot those. It's very simple. Most of you know that already. And so once we have the fractal change of character, we then look for a sweep of the choch, okay? And then we look to enter on the fair value gap that created the sweep, okay? On the extremity, right? Now, one thing I noticed in testing is that you need to give because this is such an aggressive entry, you need to give an extra 1 pip front running. So essentially you move your entry 1 pip ahead of where that FVG is, okay? And if you're struggling to find out what FVGs are, it's fair value gap, which I suggest you go and look up on YouTube. It's integral to all ICT strategies, okay? And like I say, you can incorporate higher time frame with this. But the issue with that is that you then filter out all of your entries. Now, this particular entry is actually pretty rare, okay? It doesn't happen very often. And when it does happen, that's why I say it's the highest win rate I've ever seen, is because it's quite rare. Because most of the time, the Judas Swing plays out, okay? Your first change of character happens and your FVG gets respected. But when it doesn't, okay, and you sweep that first change of character, and this often happens when it's a very obvious setup, okay? There's a lot of people getting in on this setup, okay, for one reason or the other. There's a lot of liquidity generated underneath those stop losses, and so people get in, okay? So essentially, we've got our box, right? Okay, this is our Asia session range, right? So price is ranging inside this box. Okay. We then are looking for a sweep of the lows or the highs, okay, of this box, okay? The box does all the work for you. You don't need to worry about marking out where the session start or end. You just simply wait for a sweep. We then get a sweep, okay, and we get a reaction, okay? Within this here, there could be a fractal change of character. So a fractal change of character essentially just means there's a little like this, and we get a change of character, right? Okay, it could also be a large change of character, which makes it obvious, like so. Okay, that's a very, very large change of character. Okay, and in which case we would then target this liquidity for where our entry is, and our entry would then be here. Okay, we'd enter on a fair value gap here. But let's say that we get a little fractal change of character. So that's where the change of character happens. We change character. Now, we know that there is liquidity underneath this because guess what? A bunch of people are getting in on this FVG right here. Okay, people are getting in right here on this fair value gap. Okay, so essentially we're looking to target their stop losses as liquidity. Okay, we'll essentially wait for price to come underneath. Okay, sweep these people out here, okay? Then we will wait for a fractal choch to happen, okay? Change of character here. And then once we've taken out this liquidity here, right, we will then get in, okay? We then get in and go long, okay? And then I generally, with this and in my testing, I target a 1 to 2 risk reward ratio, which is more than enough, especially granted that this has a really, really high win rate, like insanely high. All right, so I hope you guys understand that. I'm now going to show you guys examples. Now, I'm not going to, like I usually do, go through consecutive price action examples. And the reason for this is because this setup is quite rare. It happens once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, okay? That's how rare it is because the Judas Swing generally plays out. Now, what I suggest to you is that those of you trading the normal Judas Swing, all that you do is trade the normal Judas Swing. And when you see this, okay, make sure to get in, okay? Obviously test it, collect data, etc., but just know that in my testing, I've found that this is so high probability because you've got extra liquidity that has been swept. And in a lot of these cases, and this has come from when I've lost trades using the Judas Swing, I've noticed, hey, the second change of character after the first change of character has been swept is so high probability, right? So essentially, that's where I'm coming from with this. So I'm going to show you these examples. I know a lot of you in the comments down below are going to be like, hey, you're cherry picking, yada, yada, yada. I'm not cherry picking. I've gone through all of the data that I've collected, and I'm showing you guys examples that are going to give you value so that you can understand how this works. Go and test it yourself, right? Go and test and collect data. But mainly with the strategy, I can't go through consecutive days because we're going to be going through weeks and weeks where there are no setups. So I'm just going to show you the setups that are there, and you guys can learn the strategy from that and apply it yourselves. Okay, right guys, so here is the first example on Euro USD. Okay, so essentially this is the Asia highs, okay, and then you've got Asia lows which were not violated. So let's see, the highs get violated here, right? And so now we're looking for the fractal low, which will signify the first choch. Now, I'll give you guys a brief education on fractal highs and lows and how fractal changes of character works. So a fractal change of character is essentially, well, first you need to know what a fractal low and a fractal high is. So a fractal low, okay, is created when the highs are broken. And we cannot confirm a fractal low, okay, until we need to first find the most recent candle, okay, that most recent candle that did not break previous candles high, okay? Okay, so that's what we first look for, okay? So this one did not break the previous candle's high. However, okay, that is after the break, okay? And so we go backwards, okay? So this candle breaks this candle's high, Okay, this candle, so this is where our break of structure happened, right? You can see this candle broke this candle's high. Okay, there's the high, and it was broken. This candle, however, does not break this candle's high, right? Okay, and we can agree that these highs were taken. Okay, so if, for example, we are here in price, okay, this candle we can immediately see has not taken this candle's high. Okay, this is the highest point, and we can only confirm this as the fractal low, right? We can only confirm this as a fractal low. Let me move this out the way. Once the high is broken, which is right here, you'll all agree. So as soon as that's broken here by this candle, we can now confirm that this is now the fractal low. So if price came down here, that would be a change of character. I hope you guys understand that. And obviously it's the opposite way around for fractal highs. Okay, so you can see here this candle did not break this previous candle's high. Once the high is taken, we can now confirm that this candle that did not break this previous candle's high becomes the fractal low, and that will be our change of character point. Now price continues higher. We can see this candle does not take this previous candle's high, okay? And so once this high here is taken, we can now confirm this as the fractal low, okay? The high has not broken just yet. Okay, so the low has broken before the high. So this was the most recent fractal low. And so now we've got a change of character, okay? And so what we talk about here on the Judas Swing strategy would be now we would start to look for an entry here, okay? In this fair value gap, there's a gap between this wick and this wick. Okay, so this would be where our entry is potentially at. Okay, but if we are trading the Judas choch, we would then be waiting for this liquidity above here to be taken out. Okay, there's liquidity sitting above this wick. So we first wait for that to be taken out, then we wait for a change of character to enter, right? So you would have seen if you entered in on this, you would have now still been in this trade. Okay. You would have been in on that first Judas swing trade, but your stops would have been taken out right now. And that's the liquidity that we are using. Okay. Now, we're looking for the new change of character, which of course we follow price action, and this candle did not break this previous candle's high. The high has now been taken. Okay, and so we can now confirm this as the low. However, obviously this is the lowest point, so we move it over from here to here. Okay, so now we would wait for that to change character. Not yet, it has not broken this. We now have a break. Okay, however, we do not, our fair value gap is right here. All right, in this area here. Okay, so that is where our fair value gap is, and that's where our entry would be valid, right? So essentially I will set my order here. Okay, I'm going to give it a little bit of space, so about a pip. Okay, about a pip extra. Let's do it. Sorry, about half a pip extra with my stops just above. Okay, and I also give it a bit of room. So here I'll give about half a pip extra. Okay. And then we target a 1 to 2. Whoops. So half a pip here. Okay, let's just make sure we're doing it right. Half a pip here. Okay, and then we give an extra half a pip here. Okay, so it's a 2.4 pip stop, so it's quite tight. Again, we're on the 1 minute time frame. We're looking for a 1 to 2 risk reward, right? So let's see how this trade potentially plays out for us. We're entered into the trade, and we then take a win right here. Once again, you could have targeted the lows down here, but I find trading with a fixed risk reward is just better for my psychology. So let's hop on to the next example. Right, so here's another example. We have Asia session, and immediately Asia session finishes and sweeps these highs, okay? And so what we would be looking for, okay, is this as liquidity, okay? Because in the Judas swing strategy, you would already be short here, okay, potentially. And now we're looking for the sweep on the change of character because we've got the sweep. this is the first change of character, which is the fake choch, okay, the Judas choch, okay, and now we are looking for liquidity to be grabbed and a change of character to happen. Okay. So here we had price come up, okay, and here is our most recent fractal low, okay, and that is our real change of character essentially. And we would enter here on this fair value gap, okay, with a little bit in front, okay, and you're literally just going to give yourself about a half a pip at the top, okay, and then we're targeting 1 to 2 risk reward ratio once again. Okay, in this trade now, and there you go, 1 to 2 risk reward. Once again, these do go sometimes all the way to the lows. Let's see this one, but I always take a 1 to 2 because look at what happens. Okay, so always take 1 to 2. That is my actual testing, and that's what I stick to with my data, right? Because you never know. These are short-term moves, right? So let's have a look at one last example. Right, so here's another example. Price on euro dollar took out the lows, okay? We're now looking for the first fake Judas choch, right? So price is now going to change character. Okay, so right here we have a change of character, okay? There you go. This was the last candle not to break the previous candle's high, okay? Price continues. And we sweep the lows, right? So now this was used as liquidity. Okay, and now we're looking for the real change of character. Now we have a change of character happen right here. This candle did not break the previous candle's low. And so now we are looking at this as the change of character right here. Okay, and now we're looking for the fair value gap, which is right here now. Okay, whoops. So now, essentially, we would look to enter right here, and we will give it a little bit of a gap in front, okay, and a bit of a buffer at the bottom, so about half a pip, okay. Now, we're looking for a 1 to 2 risk reward, which will be right here. Okay, we're tagged in right here. Okay. And there you go, 1 to 2 risk reward. So yeah, as you guys can see, it works really, really well. And essentially, we are using other people's stop losses for getting in early. And this means that when these trades do crop up, which yes, is not often, they only happen maybe once, maybe twice a week sometimes. But just know that when they do happen and you've got a nice displacement and you can see that it's set up really well, this trade has a really high chance of playing out, especially on Euro USD, which is where I collected my data. So essentially that's it for this video, guys. I really hope that you found value in this particular trading strategy. It's really my highest win rate entry that I have and one of my biggest secret weapons in my toolbox. So I really hope you guys took value. And if you did, please do hop down below and click on that subscribe button, guys, and let me know what you think about this video. Cheers, everybody. I will see you in the very next video.